Hi everyone, my name is Ben, and through the spring semester I've been doing research for my capstone project focused on AI and the law. Now this is something that I started researching out of pure curiosity without a lot of background information on the topic, but throughout my research I've gotten to the point now where I'm noticing a lot of trends, and I think I'm at the stage where I can start to make predictions. I wanted to share them with you guys as part of this ongoing process, so here are my 3 evidence-based predictions on what's going to happen in the future with AI and the law. My first prediction is that photo and video evidence will be held to a much stricter standard going forward, and that is because of an AI technology known as deepfakes. Now, I'm sure many of you have seen these deepfake videos of, for example, Trump, Joe Biden, or Joe Rogan saying these sort of ridiculous things. It's usually played for comedic effect, and at least in my opinion, it's always very easy to tell when a video is AI. There'll be things such as sixth fingers or weird vocal tics that are a pretty good indication, but obviously the technology is only going to get better. So I was interested in seeing if this had already had an impact on the legal system, and it turns out it actually has. In Mendones v. Cushman and Wakefield, Alameda County Superior Court judge actually threw out the lawsuit because it was found that AI evidence was submitted as real evidence in the courtroom. And so based on this evidence, I think that this is something that's only going to become more of an issue going forward. Now, I don't know that we'll see a situation where AI evidence is, accepted by a judge in appeals courts and makes its way all the way through without being detected. But I do think you get a situation where people can claim that video or photo evidence in a court is doctored with AI, and it'd be really hard to prove that it wasn't. I mean, it's always harder to prove a negative, and once this technology gets to a point where it's perfectly mimicking real-world photo evidence, I think we could run into a real problem, and they're going to have to adjust to this accordingly with, looking at metadata and many other things. My second prediction is that AI literacy will become a fundamental requirement for all lawyers, no matter the field. This is based on something that I found in my research that stood out to me but wasn't necessarily surprising. Reuters reported that many law schools are already requiring AI training for their first-year curriculum. This included law schools like Fordham or Arizona State University, where one law dean was actually quoted as saying the following: "I think we've turned a corner. AI and legal tech is to the point where you can't be a competent attorney, especially not 3 years from now, if you don't have a base understanding and a sound ability to adapt quickly to emerging technologies." This is very closely related to my first prediction, as lawyers in the criminal or litigation field will really need to know how to spot AI evidence and make sure that none of that is being presented in their cases. I also think it's something that's going to affect just any sort of lawyer regardless, and that even current attorneys are going to have to receive some sort of training in order to compete with a fast-growing field. My third prediction is that AI will lead to the rise of pre-crime policing. Now, for anyone who might have seen the movie Minority Report, you might have an idea what I'm talking about, although I don't think psychics will be involved. Something I just recently learned that AI is capable of is taking these massive data sets that no human being would ever be able to analyze or even look over and turn it into something that is actually understandable. This is what companies like Palantir, which just got a major contract with the US government, are really built on. Now, Palantir has a system called Gotham that's already being used by law enforcement, intelligence agencies to track down what it sees as potential criminals. I think this is something that's going to become widespread by every police department and probably used by the federal government. Now, this could have some positive impacts, such as, making large-scale terrorist attacks or crimes organized online a thing of the past. That would obviously be a good thing. But I think it has a lot of negative implications for civil liberties. I think that, any privacy that we might have left online is sort of going to be a thing of the past, and the government will more or less be able to track our every movement and create classes of people that it deems likely terrorists, likely criminals, which I think we can all see how that would be problematic. These have been my 3 predictions. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on the topic, check out my podcast, linked in the description. Thank you.